Are you looking to level up your author business?
Are you pounding your head against a wall, wondering what your next step should be? Then join me, Daniel Wilcox.
And me, Sacha Black, as we haul ass each week in a bid to level up.
Level up!
Come along for the ride as we delve deep into the business of writing,
Craft,
entrepreneurship,
and every level of the author journey. This is the Next Level Author podcast.
Hello, Achievers.
Achievers.
This is episode 89 of the Next Level
Next
Author
Level Authors. Well, this is fun.
I'm leaving this in. Podcast.
Do it.
A podcast where we hold each other account and track our step-by-step progress and we level up our something. Yeah.
I finished the bit that you failed on. That worked out very well.
My name is Sacha Black, and here with me every week is
Daniel
Butthead
Wilcox.
Wilcox.
There you go.
Hey.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going.
It's going to be a real loopy one this week.
Yup. How are you?
I'm doing okay. We were just saying before we recorded, like this week it has just blurred by. Like I think this week I basically got to the point where I realized that I'd like to take a couple of weeks off over Christmas. And so I'm now trying to like slam all the things before the date comes.
Oh, you fool. You fool. I decided that like 3 weeks ago. I've been like put to the...
I feel like we both should have thought about this about 4 months ago. I think that would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks is good. It's better than what I've
coffee. Got. This is not okay.
No.
I know. How am I going to get through this whole episode without you on coffee?
I'll just have to throw caffeine digitally your way with
maybe I could just
unadulterated positivity.
Maybe I could order a like takeaway to deliver, and then like it could just deliver whilst we're talking.
I feel like instead of talking about it, you should just fucking do it.
Okay.
We'll wait.
Anyway, how's your week been?
Yeah, so it's been like just a busy week, and you know, some stuff happened personally on a day that kind of like took me off course for a good 24 hours. I'm still on the recovery from just doing all the things. As people who listen to the show regularly know, I've been doing a lot of like planning of my business with Notion over the last few weeks. That's still ongoing. I'm still sort of chipping away and doing that, because what's really annoying is I'm not in the position at the minute where I can just take days off to work on that stuff. I have to do the things that I need to do to keep the business rolling. And then I get to almost reward myself by sort of like chipping away at these extra bits. So it's slow progress, but it's happy progress. I had an awesome chat with the Hawk and Cleaver guys this week. We had like a little bit of a catch up on Sunday. And there's some really sort of exciting things going on over at the podcast over there. And yeah, it's just been, it's been a week that's happened.
What kind of exciting things are going on? Can you tell us, or are they secrets? Oh, Dan, you're such a dick tease.
I know. That's all I've got.
Man, okay.
Yeah, no, there's some cool stuff. But yeah, and then you know, it's been a week of activated authors boot camps or sprints, or I still don't know what I'm calling them yet. And also had my parents come up for the afternoon on Wednesday, which was nice. They came up to visit and see the new place now that I'm a bit more settled in. And so, yeah, it's been a week. How about you?
I can't honestly tell you where my week has gone. I think that's the end of my sentence.
He's still on the trail off after finishing Trey.
Well,
is Trey finished? There's a little bit more, right?
No, I've done it. It's gone to my critique partner. So here's where I'm at. I think I'm still on the emotional tail off of that, because I am many of my strengths are like perfection seeking, or like number one seeking, like best seeking. There's a lot of stuff around being the best and making sure everything I do is the best. Not the best, but the best that I can do. Right,
which is the best.
Well, not necessarily. There are other people who are better than me in the world.
But you are you, and you can only control you
for now until I beat them. No, I'm joking. I'm just playing up to the role. Anyway, and I have a lot of like emotional garbage around that book because I can't make it as good as I want it to be. It's okay. It's a good story, you know, and there's an ending to the series, but I am disappointed in myself, and that's really hard to cope with. I don't cope well with disappointment in myself because it feels like failure. And so I am still carrying some of that. And I think I'm going to be carrying that until it's out and published and all the rest of it. And until I can publish something else. And that's going to be a little while. And that's hard. So I'm definitely like dealing with that. But no, it has gone to my critique partner. And so I spent a lot of this week doing stuff for other people. So things like editing the anthology edits. So I've got to get those back to the authors so that they can do their edits so that it can then come back and then go to a proofer. Having some doubts about my story that I've written. I need to either decide to write something else or edit it in some way. What else have I done this week? I don't even know. It's the 10th, so that means it was like the 3rd. I don't know what I've done some freelance stuff. I've been trying to do freelance stuff so that I don't have to do it over the Christmas break.
Yeah.
What else? I don't know. I just don't know where this week has gone. I feel like I've wasted this whole week, even though I've done stuff.
Yeah, I imagine that probably isn't the truth, but I can, no, especially if you can't, you can't remember it.
Yeah, but coming off of having spent a month of working really hard on words, the things that are more important than anything else, I haven't written now. I wrote 4,000 words in a day, just over 4,000 words. Like, hello, can we talk about the new Sacha who like can smash out 4K in a day without even blinking? Like, what? I was editing as well. Like, I didn't even think about it. There's just so many. Oh, shut up, Dan. It's just, I told you so. Shut up, Daniel. Anyway,
can I just take a note here that there have been at least, what's my current count? Probably about 83 moments in the past 3 weeks in which I could have said I told you so, and I didn't. And what's really fun, because I mean, for a preview of what we're looking at next week in Next Level Authors, we're going to be doing like a recap of 2021. And we both listened to our old episode. And it's so funny that quite a few of the things that we both said at that point are things that we forgot for about 8 months and then are realizing at the end of the year. But yeah, that'll come.
It's going to be such a funny episode. Yeah, I know. It was too funny. We are so sweet, like fucking naive.
So innocent and naive.
So innocent, naive. Yeah. What were we thinking? Anyway,
but coming back around to the tray thing, just very, very quickly. Like I can kind of imagine that is, you know, it's a cloud that's been over your head for years.
Yeah,
and to almost be free of that and to kind of like see the other side of it, that has got to be a strange thing because you've been carrying it for so long.
Yeah, and it's also strange to see that I'm not the same. Like, I know I'm not the same writer, but I can go a different pace now as well. Like in previous, you know, I always thought I could only do 1 or 2 fiction books a year. It's just not going to be true next year. I know that now based on the output I had working on Tray. And so I'm very excited to look at that for next year and see what that looks like. I mean, I say that now and then I could be laughing at myself at the end of next year having only done half a book or something, but I don't think that's going to be the case because I have opened my mind to a different capability.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm really
belief.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so fucking shut up, Sacha. Let's just move on. How are we still on check-in? Right, level up. Have we got level up?
We do have a level up. I'm going to go this week to Kate Holdsworth for smashing her first nano. And she says, I was so sure I couldn't do it. I found an addictive sprint group on Discord, which is full of New Zealanders in my time zone. I can't stay away from it. 70,000 words by 30th of November. And
shut up.
As with quite a few people that we pointed out over the last few weeks, Kate adamantly in October was just determined that she could not do a nano. And not only did she smash a nano after sort of not quite hitting it over the last few years, but she surpassed that by 20,000 words. So this is what I'm saying, people. If you can just get out of your own fucking way, and just try and just go forward with the ignorant belief that you can, then you may surprise yourself.
Yep, for sure.
That's all I've got.
Okay, Patreon. We don't have a patron, but if you would like to be our patron, then you can by visiting.
How many new patrons?
Yeah. So look, I have only had like half a cup of coffee. Give me a break this morning.
Where is the Starbucks right now? Is it on its way?
Well, I'm fucking talking, so I can't mute myself to order it. I've got it in the checkout. I
Oh,
just
geez.
need to order it. What are we saying?
Well, you order it, I'll do this bit. So no new patrons this week, but for anyone that does want to get involved in our Next Level Authors Patreon group, where you get your behind the scenes live Q&As with me and Sacha, and you get all your episodes early, then go on over to patreon.com/Next Level Authors, and I will jump in and keep spieling while Sacha orders her coffee. So for people that are wanting to get involved in our Next Level Authors Q4 challenge, I would say that probably this week is your last opportunity, since we've got, 21 days until the end of the year. But for anyone who has put their comments on there, we have seen you, we are watching you. And if you have completed any of the things that you wanted to complete, make sure that you comment and let us know. If you're kind of close, let us know. But we will be bringing that to a close in the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks, and then handing out all the goodies and the prizes and whatnot. So please stick around and get involved. And Sacha, just a thumbs up or a thumbs down? You're all good? Is it ordered?
It is ordered, but fuck
Okay.
me, it's going to take like 20 to 30 minutes. Fuck off.
That's how long it takes me to walk to the kettle.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I thought this was fucking quick service. Jesus. Anyway, fucking hell, Starbucks. What? Oh, I'm running this, aren't I?
This gets no better. Like,
in like 90
what are
we,
episode 89? Yeah,
no.
89, Sacha. I know, you're rounding up. But yeah, 89 episodes, and we're still as smooth as silk.
Clusterfuck of podcastery.
Burned silk.
Look, this is like my one outlet where I don't have to be the best, okay? I can just be a disheveled fucking mess of a human being.
A withered prune.
Yeah.
It's purple. I went on brand. Oh, quick shout out to JP, who complimented me this week for calling you a blobfish.
He complimented you for calling me
he
that.
Was like,
cheers,
good
JP.
job getting away with that. I was like, you are welcome.
Oh, that's how it is. I see, JP. I'm going to remember that. Right. Do you have a notice at all?
I do. I'm running a New Year's offer for activated authors. So that's something I should have put in my enjoyed things this week. Oh, it's okay. I can come to that later. I am, for the first 3 months of next year, you can get a significant discount to the activated authors memberships. So for people who are unaware, there is a light membership in which you can jump over into our community Slack, and you can get access to kind of like all the good things going on over there, get involved in the chat, get resources, access to me, all that kind of good stuff. Usually that's $9.99 a month. So I am doing the offer at £20 for the first 3 months of next year. So you save like a third off of what that would be. Why do you look confused, Sacha?
Because you said usually it's $9.99 a month, but you're doing it for £20.
I'm doing £20 for the full 3 months.
Oh, okay.
And then the unlimited membership gets you access into my weekly Zooms. There are 3 in which I run, and then 1 which our good friend Samantha Frost runs. And that is usually £30 a month. And I'm doing the full 3 months for £50. So if you want to try it out, get involved, look at leveling up and kind of pushing your author career in 2022, then you can jump over to activatedauthors.com/present, and you can get access to the discount over there.
Cool. All right. Thing of the week.
Wait, what's yours?
I just don't have notices. Like, I don't like
sell something, Sacha.
I've got the supply. Like,
you have courses, you have books.
Yeah, but everybody it's no.
This is someone's first episode.
I just don't.
Fine.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Yeah, I'm not doing a thing.
For anyone who wants to find more about Sacha Black, head on over to sashablack.co.uk.
Cool. What have you enjoyed this week?
What have I enjoyed this week? So I've been reading a bunch of different books. I'm still sort of trying to narrow down my niche when it comes to my next or my series. And what's been really nice this week is I've taken a few positive steps forward in that. So at the minute, it's looking like it potentially might not be dark fantasy. It might be horror. I'm reading around a lot of, like, I kind of did put a big chunk of time into just researching and just making a list of things I could find, following my own advice that I keep putting out on like the blog and things. And it's slow work, but I'm like happy to be doing the work, because it just means that I can read and just take my time, because there isn't really a rush on me getting started with this. Like my income isn't dependent on it. This is really kind of just a passion thing that I want to move forward, that will hopefully then, earn back in the long run. And the other thing that I've enjoyed, which I'm pretty sure I told you about, was actually a couple of weeks ago, but like this month I should have been slammed with reading for a thing, and I'll keep it as anonymous as that. But I honored myself and turned it down, so that I wasn't, putting lots of effort into something that wasn't giving me much in the way of returns back, even though like it was a nice thing to be doing, but it just has saved me hours and hours of this month by just saying no in a nice way. How about you?
What section is this? I think of the week that we've enjoyed.
Do you want me to call Starbucks to hurry the fuck up with that coffee?
I just had a look. They've pulled it back a bit, so it should arrive between 9:35 and 9:55, which is very good, because it's very fucking big window. Needed. I know. Okay, so I read a couple of books this week. The Times I Knew I Was Gay, which is a journey. It's a memoir written in kind of like black and white comic type pictures, and it's for, I think it feels like the audience is kind of younger teens maybe, but like there are a couple of references to like sex and stuff, but it's very PG, and it's a true memoir, and it is beautiful and very sweet and a wonderful own voice kind of journey. Like I don't know how else to describe it. It starts, from childhood, from being born to like when the author is happy with their sexuality in sort of early adulthood. And I just thought it was so relatable and so sweet that this is a really good book for young teens who like maybe parents are questioning whether or not their teen is questioning things, or it's sweet for parents to read, or so I just thought that was a really good one to talk about. I really liked that one. And then the other one I read was this, which is Not My Problem by Kiara Smythe, not sure, she's Irish, so I don't know if that then changes the way it's pronounced, but fuck me, this is the funniest book I've read in such a long time, and it made me die on the inside, like pieces of my soul literally fucking died, because it's very close to what I want to be writing. And the author's she looks about fucking 12, so that was depressing, but I cried with laughter, literally cried, because it was that funny, and I just loved it. The ending, I wasn't wild about the ending, I have to say, but this is about a young girl who is a lesbian, and it's sort of rivals to lovers. And so it's not enemies to lovers. I have now learnt the difference between enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers, and what was the other one? The other one is rivals to lovers. Hang on a second. Enemies to lovers and bullies to lovers. That was the other one. Yeah. Interesting. Yes, because there's differences. So this is rivals to lovers, and it was just, oh my God, it was so funny. Like I haven't read a book that made me laugh out loud in ages. So yeah, highly recommend that one.
Nice.
Yeah. It's still me, isn't it? Right, comments.
Yeah. So last week's question was this one. How are you, or would you, approach the launch of your first book? Lena Johnson says, this comes at a great time as I'm planning my very first book launch in 2022. Congrats, Lena. It's very exciting. I picked up a lot of great market research tips in this episode, but I'm mostly trying to not worry about it and allow myself to make mistakes. It's all a bit overwhelming, and I learn best by doing. As everyone says, it's a long game, and the most important thing is to learn so I can do better next time. I love that. Edwin says, if I were launching my first book now, I'd know better than to believe the hype. I'd get a boost from appearing on new release lists at the various retailers. Another thing I am doing now is taking a close look at comp authors to look for stronger ways to introduce my works to new readers. On the trickier side, I would seriously consider putting more money into book marketing emails to raise my profile to people who have never heard of me before. Since so much of the advice out there assumes a fast writer able to crank out books, I honestly don't know what else I could have done. And then Claire says, oh, I have so many plans. I'm going to listen to this episode before I share. And did she continue and come back and share? No, she didn't. So Claire, finish that comment. We want to know what you're doing.
Alrighty. So does that mean we're at question of the week?
We haven't done our quarterly confessional.
Oh, yes. Let's do that. Yes. Okay. Very good. Yes.
Do you mind?
Daniel.
Okay. Dan will move house. Tick have sorted out activated authors 2022 calendar and action the first 2 months of content. Very much in progress. Dictate a first draft of a novel. Done. Dictate a short story. I haven't yet. It is on my list to either do next week or potentially on the drive home to my folks for Christmas.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So I always
Sacha
forget.
will read 30 books this quarter.
Yeah, I'm on 21. I've read 21.
9 in 21 days.
That's what's that? One every 3 days.
Not quite. 1 every 2 days.
Is it 1 every 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
9 books in 21 days.
Yeah, 9 times 2 is 18. So you have a 3-day leeway. Come on, Sacha. I can see you whistling Jingle Bells with a cream cracker in your mouth.
I am going to hit it just so I don't have to do that. I will do that. 9 in 29, 1 every other day. Shit. Right. Okay. I might have to be strategic about which books I choose to read.
Oh, goody. You're going to read 9 comic books.
If I don't, no, I won't do that. I might read a poetry book though, because that might help. What was I going to say? Hang on a second. 9, how many? I'm wondering if I can bass through an audiobook in that as well. Yeah, I might have to bass through an audiobook. Do you know what? If I don't hit 30, this will be the worst reading month of the year, which is terrible to end the year on. So I'm gonna have to make sure I do
and we
it.
come back to this is considerably less than what your original goal was going to be.
It is, and it's considerably less than what most other quarters that I've read. So okay, question of the week.
What about your other things?
Oh,
you've got your logo done, your plan for a series of masterclasses pretty much done.
Yeah.
Anthology.
Yeah, I've done half of them. So, and I'm
cool.
aiming to have the other half done by Friday next week.
Boom.
Okay. Right. So, question of the week. What are you going to do for you next year?
I've been thinking about this lately.
Have you? Well, that's a good question then. Good timing.
Well, yeah, because I mean, we're looking at goals and stuff. And I think I mentioned last week or the week before that one thing I've discovered very much this year is, and this is kind of a bit of hyperbole, but there is no separation between personal and work when it's this kind of job. So what I have done when looking at my goals and different things, rather than just focusing entirely on what the business is going to be doing, I have included personal as one of the categories I'm looking at for things. I did that a little bit.
I was just going to say, I've changed how I'm doing my goals next year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I did have some personal stuff last year, but that was sort of like buying a house. That was like very big stuff, and like, I'm very, very happy that that's all achieved and things. But I think so. I don't know is the answer to this question at this point. I think one thing, there's a few different things that I'm exploring. Number one is some sort of fitness club or regimen. Now that I'm in this new place that I can kind of keep up, and what I'd like to have is something that has targets and things that can like mark progress without being like all encompassing. So at the minute I'm looking at either CrossFit, which is very sort of like community based sort of circuit training, as I understand it, and getting involved in that, and they sort of like record PBs and it's fitness, and you hopefully get stronger each week. Or I'm looking at like boxing, and potentially going down that route of just trying to get better, faster, fitter that way. And again, just meet people and integrate myself a bit more with the community. So one thing is sort of fitness related. As part of that, I'm also going to be committing to doing 2 of those big sort of runs that I've done in the past. So what did I do this year?
You mean? The charity walk. You're doing a run as well?
Yeah, well, this year I did the Race for Life 5K. The year before was 2020 and didn't do anything in that because 2020. The year before I did the nuclear race, which was a 7K run with like 70 obstacles. So I want to do 2 of those next year of some kind. I don't know what yet. I'd like to.
Have you ever done the Tough Mudder?
Yeah, I did a Tough Mudder in Manchester with Luke, and it was neither tough nor muddy.
Oh, really?
It was like, I've seen good ones. I don't know if it was just the day, but it was like a really dry, sunny day. There wasn't a lot of wet stuff, so it was a 5K. It was a 5K run. There was a few obstacles, but the hardest obstacle was the end, in which you had to do like monkey rings and stuff. But apart from that, it was fairly straightforward.
I did a Tough Mudder in like end of October, November. It was the most horrendous experience of my life. I have got some photos of me like caked in mud. I didn't mind any of that. Like, I don't mind getting dirty or whatever. It was the biting cold, having to jump into a pool of ice in the middle of fucking November. And then I got whiplash from the last obstacle because we jumped off of like this giant climbing wall that you climbed up. And then they told you to land with your legs out straight. Like, so you land in a sitting position. So like that. Yeah. And then, so I did that, but the recoil or whatever you want to do it made me do that because it was into a bouncy thing. And they didn't say to like,
accommodate for that.
And so I ended up with like a several day migraine and whiplash that I had to get sorted with the chiropractor. Because it was like, so I was just like, never again will I ever do fucking Tough Mudder. It was horrific. I hated it.
It really does seem to be dependent on where you're doing it, and like, even if it's the same brand, sometimes they're not quite the same as others. So like, I've done a Race for Life before, and that was just straightforward. There wasn't really a whole lot of mud, whatever. Whereas the one that I did this year was with like my mum, my sister, and my dad. And I was going into it, it won't be that muddy. The last one wasn't muddy. I was covered, and there was a lot of mud, and it was awesome.
We had to swim under. They literally made this mud thing, this mud pool is what I want to call it. And there was a log across it. You had to dive under, but like there was the whole of you, so you couldn't even wipe the mud off your face.
Oh, that's the worst part. Yeah,
that was the worst bit. You could like, and it was horrible. I just didn't enjoy that. And I used to love like all that outdoor shit because I was in the cadets for like a decade almost, and then went back as an adult because I used to love that kind of stuff. I do not love that stuff anymore. Like,
the one I did with Luke, the first obstacle was like this big scaffolding A-frame, and you basically climb up one side, come down the other. And as I'm climbing down, I'm coming down, so going backwards, and I turn ready to jump off to go into the run, and didn't realize there was just a metal bar where my forehead was. So I just went, and that was literally the first obstacle. So like, Luke's going off ahead, like all three of them. And I'm like, oh. Like, they're fun. So yeah, I really enjoy those, mostly because they're different. They're events that really push you out of your comfort zone and kind of test you. And what I really want to do last time with the nuclear race was fresh off of having a really bad back. So I'd like to kind of like improve myself from there and just try that. So that's kind of like fitness stuff. I want to go back to learning Spanish through Duolingo. I got sort of really far on that at the beginning of last year, and then it trailed off, but I'd like
beginning of this year.
Yeah. Unless people are listening in 2022. So yeah, I'd like to kind of get back into that and get into some rhythm with learning Spanish, because I just like to learn another language, and Spanish is a language that I quite enjoy. And then one thing that's been floating in my mind that I'm not 100% committed to, but would be quite nice, is taking piano lessons, because I can play piano at a very basic level. Like, I can play chords, I know the structure of a piano. Like, I taught myself from these teach yourself how to play keyboard books when I was about 11, but I've never had any sort of like, I'd like to get fluent with reading sheet music and playing along with sheet music. I can do it if I'm like, that okay, that one, and then that, nope, not that one. Like, it takes me a while, and I'd have to almost like memorize it. But I'd like to potentially get a bit more fluent in reading music, and that would mean I'd need to buy a keyboard or some kind of piano, which would be cool. And yeah, like, go on more trips, give myself more permission to go away more often. Like, I had a taste of that this year with the Lake District, with a couple of like working vacations where I went down and visited people while I was working. And I'd like to do more than that, especially now that, I live here in a location that is private. But where I live at the minute, I'm about 30 minutes from most of my friends and family and stuff. So I'm a bit more isolated than I have been. So I'd like to do a bit more with just finding new friends, going out, making more effort to see people and just that kind of thing. And then, of course, like the big one, the DOG, I want to get myself a goddamn dog. So I think, yeah, that's the big ones really. Like I'd like to keep designing a life that works for me around my work. And then just be a bit more. Oh, and that's another thing that I want to do as well is I'm kind of creating a list of like annual dates I want to make in my life. So for example, my sister used to come up and visit every year for her birthday to do like, what's the word? Like beer pong. We used to do that every year. And I want to bring that back and have that on a fixed day each year so people just know when it is. I'm also going to be doing an annual Lord of the Rings marathon. And just inviting like my geek mates over to watch all of the Lord of the Rings in one go.
You know, I've never seen the final film.
I didn't know that, and now we must end this podcast.
I've never seen the last film. I just haven't seen it. I just didn't ever watch it.
I can't handle that piece of information in my life right now. So I'm going to pretend that didn't happen and I'm going to keep talking. Okay. And don't worry, you won't be getting an invite. But yeah, so I'd really like to do that. So those kind of like regular dates, like I spoke to my family recently about doing sort of like a family day once every 2 months because we're very spread out across the country and it would just be nice to have something that brought us together a bit more often than sort of the times that we're all together through the year tends to be like maybe once at best. So yeah, I think it's a handful of a lot of things. Obviously, decorate this place and make it my own. That's gonna be a big thing. Really sort of establishing my territory, which I've not ever been able to do, which would be nice. Yeah, I think that probably about covers it. How about you?
I really like your list. I really, really love the piano one. I think that's probably my favorite one that you said. I really like that. And also the beer pong with your sister. I think that's adorbs.
Nah, thanks. We did 1 year we did Quidditch beer pong. Well, 2 years we did Quidditch beer pong. So what I did was I basically got tinfoil, wrapped it around a drumstick, slapped it into a bit of blue tack, and then made some hoops. And we had those in the center of the table, and you had to throw it through a hoop to get into the cup. Didn't really work very well because of just the angle you had to throw it at. So the following year, we ended up creating like a whole rig system of hanging hoops. And we had like a tiny one, which we called the golden snitch. So if you get the ball through that tiny little hole into a cup, they then take the shot and then you get one of your drinks back. So you get like an extra life. So we had all these rules and things. It was, it's a lot of fun.
Wow. Oh, to have had a sibling.
Yeah.
This is all like alien to me. I'm like, wow, that's really playing together. Like I didn't ever do that. I'm just such a loner. Another
very quick one. Another very quick one. The year last time we played it, we had aprons. It were beer pong aprons, so they held cups.
That's amazing.
So you had like a pyramid of cups on your chest. It was
that massive. Is literally amazing. I want to see the photographic evidence of that beer pong.
I'm sure that's somewhere.
Yeah. My siblings are actually closer to my son's age than my age. So it's very odd. Except for my oldest younger brother, who is 26, I think. And then my stepsister's 24. And then 15 or 16 and then 13 or 14, I think. I don't know. Anyway.
It's just your family.
I never lived with any of them though. So I always see myself as an only child, even though I'm not. Oh yeah, so I have to answer now, don't I?
Yeah, that's how this works.
Well, I don't really know. And I think that's why I asked the question. I am doing one thing. I'll have to sort of explain it whilst I show viewers on YouTube. So I have brought some gym flooring for my office because I have a spin bike and I really, really, really love spinning. Always have, because I get super fucking sweaty and I like it really makes a difference to my like cardio fitness. But it's cold and having it in the garage is too much resistance between working, the pull of working and going out in the cold. So I said to Chloe this week, look, like it's not ideal to have it in my office. Neither of us really want it in here, but I think I'd actually do it if it was in here because like I don't know, it's in my office, it's in my workspace. It'll almost feel like I'm still working, even though I'm not. It's like psychological brain fuckery. And also, you know, maybe I can listen to an audiobook or do, I don't know, whatever. I can, you know, make some excuse to like try and work whilst also working out, which is just the most fucking ridiculous mindset to have. But
hey, I bought a treadmill to do that.
Well, like, I mean, like, Jesus Christ, I am such a workaholic. It's actually not funny, but also like I don't care because I love my job. So you know, anything to do the fitness. So I'm bringing that into my office because I also want to like shred a bit of weight and be fitter next year, because I think I'm going to compete again in March, and because I'm senior belt, they are fitter and faster and better, and I don't like losing, so I have a bit more motivation to do something about my physical health. So that's one thing. Yeah, I'm gonna try and do more fitness and continue my taekwondo. I have my exam on Sunday for my red belt, so then I only have like 2 belts to go, well, 2 exams to go, and then I get my black belt. So yeah, so that's that. I'm also going to lower my reading goal because I want to read 5 600+ page books, and I cannot face losing a reading challenge. So I'm lowering the goal in order to read longer books, because I really want to read some longer books. And because I'm competitive, I have to still be able to reach the goal. So the only way to do that is to lower the goal so that I can put in some longer books. So next year I will be reading some longer books. And I kind of said I was going to do that this year, but then I changed my mind and did a big goal. So
doubled it.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm really trying to reconcile that in my brain as well, because like the other part of me is like, yeah, we'll just read the longer books anyway and still hit the massive number. Like I'm just like, just Sacha, shut up, why are you gonna be like that? So yeah, the other couple of things that I've been thinking about doing is, I think I'm going to start my year with a week of research and learning. Like I think I'm going to, yeah, give myself that. And I want to put in more time in my work time to allow me to do research and learning. Because learning gives me a lot of energy, and I love learning things, and there are things I want to learn next year, and so I need to give myself permission to do that in my working time, I think, because there just isn't time in other points in my life. I would like to start investing, so I'm gonna invest.
That's one, yeah,
next year. That's one of the things I want to learn about as well. I did do some learning, but I need to do some more learning. So yeah, I'm going to be investing next year. I think that's probably about it, really. I think that's probably about it. It's not very good, really, is it? I should have come up with a better answer.
Well, as a travelholic, are you going to be doing any traveling or anything next year?
So it's my 10-year wedding anniversary, and I would really like
yours, not hers.
yeah. Well, yeah, but it's not ours. If I say our, it means in reference to me and you. So it's mine and Chloe's 10-year wedding anniversary. And I always said I would take her to Paris, but I kind of feel like I can't really plan things like that. So here's the other thing. I am going to buy a ticket to Vegas in January and hope that I can make it. So there's that.
Why January? To go in January?
No, the tickets for the conference release in January. So I'm going to buy the ticket in January.
It's 20 bucks.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But whether or not I can get there, I don't know. So but I think I might buy the conference ticket, because you can always resell it or whatever, give it to somebody else who needs it more than you. So yeah, I think I'm going to buy the ticket and then see if I can make it in the November. I don't know. I still kind of got to decide, because it's such a lot of money. So yeah, I don't know really. I feel like the big one for me is giving myself permission to do research and learning in work time, because I feel like it fuels me a lot, and I need to do that. And then also, no, I don't have anything else. I'm boring. I have a shit answer to this week's question, and it was my question. That is a disappointment.
I'll be honest. I don't think any of that shit, like going to Vegas, getting a black belt, like
no, I don't get my black belt next year. I get my black belt.
Well, no, but like working towards it, like that stuff's exciting. You've just normalized it because it's your life. It doesn't sound exciting, but to people listening to this, they're like, that sounds like a fucking good year.
I'll get my black tag next year. So I'll have a red belt with a black stripe down it. And then April 23, I think, is when I get to do my black belt. It's really annoying. It's just like, I wish I could do it, because they only do 2 exams a year, April and October. And I really want to do it in October, but I'm not allowed. So
oh no.
I know, it's really annoying.
No. I love this question.
Do you?
I love this question, yeah. Because it's again, like, it's kind of a bit outside of the realms of writing, which is something that I know that I need reminding often.
I have another one. I'm going to continue to have bubble baths and books.
Nice.
Yes, I'm going to allow myself to spend money.
I'm doing a lot of baths and reading right now.
I have another one. Are you? Oh my God, I fucking love a bubble bath and a book. Lush do these giant, like, crumbly bubble bath things, but you can chop them into like 10 pieces, so that you get 10 baths out of them, so it makes it worthwhile. It's like £8, but then you get like 10 baths out of that, so it's okay. So the other one, if I hit a particular goal in a financial month, I'm going to buy myself a pair of Valentino rock studs.
And Wiley jumpsuit. Google.
It's a very expensive pair of shoes, heels with studs that look amazing, and I've wanted a pair for a long time.
Dan realizes he doesn't understand, but accepts that Sacha is different.
Yeah. So.
Part of my travels, I want to take Bailey camping.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah, to be honest, like, I'm hoping there will be more travel in our life next year. My dad is trying to get all of his children into one room, which has never happened before. We've never all been together ever.
And fight.
I was like, it's going to be awkward as fuck. Yeah, and he won't listen to that. So he's determined to have us all in the same room. So there might be that in next year. That'll be in Holland. I would like to go on a summer holiday. I would like to go to Vegas. I want to take Chloe to Paris. This might explain why I never had any money.
I've got hopefully London Book Fair I'd like to go to next year.
And definitely that's on. Do you know what? I wrote down book your hotel yesterday. I literally wrote down I need to book.
Are the tickets released?
No.
I was going to say.
You can reserve a hotel.
Yeah.
Without paying for it.
That, and also I've got a ticket for 20 Books Madrid. So hopefully I can get over to Espanol and practice mi Espanol.
Yes, you really do need to practice that.
Oh, I've already forgotten the word.
I nearly asked you.
Mi perro es muy bonito. There we go.
Yes, your dog is pretty, but you don't.
Hey.
I nearly asked you a different question. Do you want to know what I nearly asked you?
Yeah.
So I had this really interesting chat last night with a girl called Kelly Track, who wrote a book called P.S. You're a Genius, How to Find Your Innate Gifts. And she talked about the Jungian concept of your dark shadow, which was fascinating to me, obviously with the background in psychology. So I was going to ask you what your dark shadow is, because the point that she was making is that your dark shadow is also your greatest strength. So the things that you are most afraid of people seeing you as are your greatest strength. So like, I was like, I'm afraid of being a failure and I'm afraid of being boring, which is why I rebel against everything. And why most of the time I succeed at stuff, right? Because you drive away from the things that you are afraid of. It pushes you on not to be those things. So I was going to ask you about that, but that will maybe be a conversation for another day, because I'm interested.
I like that. It's kind of like using the id to fuel your superego.
Yeah. Okay. How are we? No, we don't ask that question anymore, do we?
No, we don't.
just thought I'd end this conversation in the same shit state as I started it. Also, it's now 9:58 and my fucking coffee isn't here. It's on its way though. It's estimated delivery 10:03. That's 5
not what it
minutes
said.
away. No, it's not.
That's 8 minutes after it said
That's
originally.
fine, because it means when we start recording the next episode, I will have a coffee.
Full transparency, we're about to record and next week, so we can batch and get these over Christmas.
Yeah. All right, 6 minutes away. I'm watching it now drive towards me. Excellent. And on that, that's the coffee. And on that note, bye.
Hungry for more?
If you enjoyed this podcast, you can hear more of my angelic accent and Dan's dulcet tones on our other podcasts.
For more of me, check out the Great Writer Share podcast.
For more of me, listen to the Rebel Author podcast. We'll be back next week holding each other to account as Dan
and Sacha
become
next level
authors.
I have nothing. What are you wearing?
It's Christmas Jumper Day. National Christmas Jumper Day. So I've Christmas jumpered for the day because it's National Christmas Jumper Day.